Alright, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. And in this episode, actually, we're going to talk about what I consider to be a superfood. And you guys may not consider this a superfood or not. And what it is these guys. You might be growing one inside your house. And if you live in South Florida, like where I am now, you guys could easily grow them outside. And what we'll be talking about today is the aloe vera plant. But this is just not any old aloe vera plant. This is a very special kind of aloe vera plant. Like, if you guys go into the store and you go to buy apples, right? They just don't have a sign that says apples and they got Granny Smith apples below that, right? Who would like apples if they're all Granny Smith apples? You know, in the store they have like Fuji apples, Granny Smith apples, you know, Honeycrisp apples, Macintosh apples, all kinds of apples, so you guys have a choice. But unfortunately, when you go down to the store to buy an aloe vera plant, you're just going to get an aloe vera, and there's many different kinds of aloe vera, much like there's many different kinds of apples. And so the kind of aloe vera I'm going to talk about today is the Aloe Vera Miller Stockton, which is a cultivar or a kind of aloe vera that has been known for having some of the highest levels of health benefits available for you guys. And actually, I'm growing my own Aloe Vera Miller Stockton variety at my house, and it's been actually growing for several years now. But the problem is, if you're growing it yourself, they do take some time to grow. I mean, look at this. This nice sized plant took 3 years to grow from just like a little baby that maybe you see behind. And to have enough good quantity of aloe vera leaf to eat so that you can derive the health benefits, you know, until you're up in production after a few years. And you know, you probably really should be buying it to get these nutrients in you, because you know, the fact of the matter is every plant in the entire world, whether that's tomatoes, you know, bananas, pineapples, the plants make special compounds. You could call them chemicals. I like to call them phytochemicals or phytonutrients, and the plant makes these for its benefit, for its defenses, to protect it from nature. You know, the aloe vera is one of those plants that you don't have to water, and it's like a succulent. It stores all the water, all the liquid in there, plus a lot of the different nutrients, so that it can survive through hot temperatures, through the hot sun beating down on it each and every day. And it's these properties, when we consume these amazing plants or superfoods or fruits or vegetables, whatever you want to call them, we could get some of these properties in us, and some of these properties can be amazing. I mean, for the aloe vera, they say it's, you know, it's good for your stomach and can heal your stomach, all these kind of crazy things, right? So what we're going to do today, actually next, is we're going to go to probably one of the best manufacturers that produce the best aloe vera product. And the best aloe vera product, unfortunately, in most cases, is not going to be found at your local health food store. If you go to buy aloe vera in a jug at the health food store, it's been highly processed. And you guys are watching my channel, OK Raw, and I'm all about minimally processing your food as minimal as possible so that you can get the most health benefits. Once they start processing food, you start losing nutrition, you start losing enzymes, you start losing different properties of the food that could be the difference between, you know, having health or not having health. And even in addition, you know, sometimes when they process things out, they can make the food even worse for you, like in the case of soy, right? Hey, whole soy foods, fermented properly and cooked, are great. I love to eat them myself. But when they start taking soy isolates and you take this soy protein powder, that could cause some real havoc, in my opinion, you know, on your system. So anyways, let's go head down to the shop and show you guys actually one of the best aloe vera supplements you guys could buy. So now I'm inside the home, or specifically business, of Stockton Aloe1, and the product they have is actually 100% pure, fresh, frozen aloe vera gel. But this is not any old gel. This is actually the gel from the exact plants that you guys saw, the Miller Stockton variety, that has been shown to have greater health benefits than standard aloe. If you just buy standard aloe at the store, it may not have any health benefits at all, or it may have a few. You don't exactly know, because there's many different kinds, and you don't know what kind you're buying or what kind you're actually growing. And you know, the thing I want to say first, before we even go inside, this is actually a walk-in cooler. If you see the temperature, it's actually -8 degrees. So is that colder than Antarctica? Maybe Canada? I don't know, it depends. But they have to keep the aloe vera gel frozen to keep it literally raw and keep it enzymatically active and keep the highest level of nutrients in there. Unfortunately, most aloe veras are heat processed, in which you lose nutrients. In addition, they're filtered with diatomaceous earth and maybe other chemical additives are added in there, which then goes ahead and lowers the nutrition even further, and even more so, you know, some are diluted down with water, and this is 100% straight aloe vera so that you can derive the health benefits. Of course, you know, I mean, you might, John, you're pushing another superfood. Well, here's the thing, right? I don't care how you guys get the Aloe Vera Miller Stockton variety into you. I mean, actually, I'll put links down below to videos where I show how you guys could grow it yourself. I mean, I've been growing it myself now. I just need to grow more of it faster. And also how to process it properly. It's very important. Don't just cut off an aloe leaf and put it in your whole smoothie. You know, you can have some bad reactions, and you guys will learn about why you need to process it properly. But later, when I'll be speaking with a doctor, a chiropractic doctor, later on the aloe vera to learn more about it and what it can help you with. So yeah, so I want you to grow it yourself by all means if you guys are able to do that, and order the little special plant starts that are on back order many times of the year because they're trying to keep up. But yeah, check my links down below. Those are two of my best videos on my gardening channel on how to process and grow and even divide the aloe vera, which is an amazing plant, and you guys should do it. But I know a lot of you guys don't want to grow things. You don't have space to grow things. I mean, you could grow the aloe vera inside your house even. It's going to grow a lot slower, so don't think I'm going to have enough aloe to eat if I'm growing it inside my house without the sun hitting it and all this stuff. It's going to grow really slow, guys. I mean, I've really not taken care of mine, and they grow really slow. I don't even have enough quantity of aloe vera to eat. So that's why I'm back here at Aloe1, so I could literally get my stock of the Aloe Vera Stockton to eat myself personally, and more importantly, to share this with you guys. You know, every different food on the planet has a unique, you know, benefits. And so I'm going to share with you guys the best aloe that I've found in all my travels, all my journeys. And, you know, I want to remind you guys that for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, I've been going to the Natural Products Expo. You know, the trade show for the health food industry, and I see all the other aloe vera sellers there, and none of them can compete with the quality of the one here at Aloe1. So anyways, let's go ahead and walk into the cooler, and I'll freeze my bejeebies off and show you guys more about the special aloe here. So now I'm inside the cooler at Stockton Aloe1, and as you guys can see, they just got these stainless steel racks that are actually nice and cold, and I will not dare stick my tongue out on the pipe because my tongue will probably stick. It is pretty dang cold in here, let me tell you guys that. But anyways, this is where they have literally their stock of their Stockton Aloe1, and it's just filled up with all these 58-ounce sizes. They also have gallon sizes and 5-gallon buckets full of their frozen aloe vera product. And you know, the thing that's important to me is that when you guys source different foods, is that you guys get the highest quality food. I mean, just earlier today I was at a farm that actually grows moringa in rich soil, and also process it in a short period of time, so that from the time it's harvested, within 24 hours it's actually in a package and ready to be sold. And much like the aloe, you know, they're doing a really good job here, because literally it's harvested out of the field, it's filleted, it's cleaned properly, it's then hydro-cooled, chilled super down, and then put into bottles to freeze, so that literally it locks in the freshness, and all the different nutrients are still in there, including the enzymes and all that stuff, right? And that's why I'm into raw foods. You know, when you eat things raw in its natural state, you're going to have the highest level, highest benefits of some of the different phytonutrients. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm like breathing, and it's like, it's so cold, it's like freezing. But yeah, so this stuff is 100% pure, fresh frozen, raw aloe vera gel since 1953. You know, this is not a new company, this is not a new technology, this is old school stuff that you guys probably never heard about, right? I mean, when I was younger, I used to take aloe vera from the grocery store, or the health food store, because I thought it was healthy, but that stuff is like, literally like water, and I never really felt different. But if you guys take this stuff, you will feel different. So on the back, it says the ingredients are Barbadensis Miller Stockton species aloe vera gel, produced product of the Dominican Republic. And I mean, that's all it is, literally in this bottle, right? And so they have to ship this to you guys frozen, so they like ship it air shipping. So when you get it, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to thaw this out, and then you could put it into little bottles, right? And then refreeze it if you're not going to use it immediately. But for me, I would just basically thaw it out, and then I would use this within like the week. I would just add this to my different juices, right? I would encourage you guys not to actually blend this once you get it, because if you put it in a blender and you blend it at high speed and it's not a vacuum blender, you're going to do some oxidative damage to the valuable nutrients in the aloe vera gel that's in here. So I think just hand mixing it into like a fresh vegetable juice, or actually one of my favorites is actually mixing it with sugar cane juice and the aloe vera gel. Tastes amazing, tastes so good. Anyways, you guys learned a little bit about the product now, but what I want to do next is sit down with Dr. Michael Haley, who's the owner of Stockton Aloe1, and he could share with you guys more of the benefits about the aloe and why you should probably be using it in your life, especially if you're really into your health and want to obtain the highest level of health. So now I'm here with the owner of Stockton Aloe1, Dr. Michael Haley, and I have him on the show today to explain to you guys some of the benefits of the aloe, and also more importantly, what sets his aloe vera product apart from others, and what you guys want to look out for if you guys are buying aloe, or actually even this applies to other products that are out there in the market. So Dr. Haley, thank you for having me here and taking time out of your busy day, because I know you're totally busy with kids and all these things, to be on my show to educate people about the value of the aloe vera. I've known about aloe vera for a long time, especially since I came here several years ago and made those videos. Once again, check those links down below where I'm harvesting and using the aloe vera and showing you guys how you guys could grow your own aloe. But I know a lot of you guys don't want to do that. You guys don't want to be a farmer, right? You're going to let somebody else, like Dr. Michael Haley, be a farmer, and you're just going to buy the product because it's a lot easier, right? That being said, I want you guys to be producers instead of consumers, and try to produce as much as you possibly can, whether that's producing your own meals at night, whether you just bought the food, or whether you grew it yourself, even better, right? Then you don't have to go to the restaurant, because you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. And unless you come to a place that has a open door policy or transparency, you don't know what they're doing. So you don't know how your food that you're eating is being processed, what kind of chemicals and things are being added to it, right? And that's why I'm here today, because they don't do anything to this product. So Dr. Haley, so starting off, why did you get involved with Stockton Aloe1 in the first place?
Rodney Stockton was one of my patients. I'm a chiropractor. I was taking care of him for his spinal pains, and he used to always bring these jugs of aloe to me and tell me how important it was, and how, give it to this and it'll cure this and cure. He said things that we can't say these days, and he didn't care. But eventually, I was his customer, and we had a lot of patients and family and friends using the product that were raving about it. I myself was casually using it. One day I burned my hands real bad on a sailing accident, and I used his aloe cream. And I remember 3 days later looking at my hands, thinking about how much better they looked than before the injury. And I realized the power of this stuff, started using it more and more, putting my patients on it, getting crazy results. When he had died, our aloe supply actually got a little bit sketchy. It was hard to get aloe because the people taking over weren't able to keep up with the demand. They didn't understand how everything worked. And when his wife had called and asked and said, I could use a little help, we stepped in. And funny turn of events, we were sitting there in the office and talking about it, and someone came in to purchase aloe, and we just looked at each other. We said, we can do this. Let's do it. It made sense. Somebody had to. If not me, who else? There's enough chiropractors in this world. But there's nobody doing this. So that's how we got started. And I remember going to the Dominican Republic and studying the farm, and the question was, how can we make it even better? How can you take the best and make it even better? We figured out a few ways to do that, and that's how we came up with what we have right here, the aloe gel, raw, natural, fresh frozen, meaning it's harvested and it's frozen quickly, same day that we're taking it out of the field. We can get it frozen in the bottle, and then we keep it frozen and we ship it directly to our customers. I don't know if that answered the question, or did I talk too much there? I don't know.
It's all good. I think we got that pretty much covered. So the main thing is you're just growing it, harvesting it fresh, and then freezing it. So it's literally it's a whole food aside from the outer skin and some of the yellow sap. You want to talk about that? I know a lot of you guys might have tried aloe and you just take a leaf and eat it, or you might see aloe for sale at the store.
Yeah.
What's the green, and can we eat the green, and what's the little yellow sap below the green leaf?
You know, that's an important distinction, because some people some companies sell both the whole leaf, where they have the outer leaf and the inner gel. There was a time when there were companies actually selling extract only from the outer leaf, turned into powder, turned into capsules, and people were using that for the laxative effect. I kind of disagree with the use for the, for the laxative effect. I think if you wanted that effect, maybe you'd use a little chunk of whole leaf, because I think the outer leaf with the gel would probably be better than just the outer leaf in a capsule. But we're just the inner gel. We're after the healing part. We're not after the laxative effect. And that's probably controversial, whether or not you're supposed to have the nutrients from the middle or have the skin too, which we might call them anti-nutrients in some cases. Sometimes the outer part of the plant is there to protect the plant. It's there to keep the bugs away. The orange is a perfect example of that. If you take the outer peel of an orange and you distill it, you make a natural pesticide. You wouldn't want to be consuming that. If you remove the outer, you can eat the white part and the orange on the inside, but you don't want to consume very much of the outer peel of an orange. I think it's the same way with aloe vera. That outer leaf has this aloe1, this yellow brownish sap that's very, very bitter. And a lot of times these anti-nutrients are bitter. They make you not want to consume it. They keep the bugs away. They keep the humans away from eating those things. In those cases, when they're very, very bitter, I question whether or not we should be consuming that as a food source. So we focus on the gel, the healing component of the aloe, the part that stimulates the immune system, the part that lowers the blood sugar levels and helps people with their guts heal from their ulcerative colitis and their Crohn's and all the issues that they're having, the reasons that people drink aloe vera.
Cool. So, I just poured some for us. I want to try it on camera for you guys. I think it's been a while since I've tried it.
Cheers.
So, cheers to your health. So, I'm drinking this. I drink juices like almost every day when I'm not traveling. And actually, even the other day I drank juice. But this is like really nice. It's not like thin like a juice. It's thin like a juice, but it's not. It kind of has like a thickness or viscosity, but it goes down really easy. It basically tastes like nothing. It's actually kind of nice, especially with the nice warm weather here in South Florida. It's like nice and cooling. It makes an amazing beverage.
The viscosity is pretty neat because it's a gel, and you really have gel in here. It's the real thickness from the plant. It's not reconstituted gel. It's not a thickener added, making it into a gel. What makes this particular product different from a lot of the others? A lot of people don't know. You don't know where your food goes to before it gets into a bottle or a jar sitting on the store shelf. They get processed, to such a degree that it's no longer representative of the fruit or vegetable that it came out of. And then they'll process it and they'll add things back to it to thicken it back up. A lot of these products have things like carrageenan and guar gums and things to add texture back to, but it's not real food anymore. This is true gel from the plant.
Cool. And so, why is it so important to keep it raw, Dr. Haley?
Live food, right? We're all about living. We want to be alive. I'll liken it to the human. When a human being dies, if we didn't preserve that body, within a few days you wouldn't even recognize it. And it's kind of the same way with our nutrition. If we take something and we kill it, you take the life away from it, and apart from any kind of preservation, you're not going to recognize the nutrition in it within a few days. If we did chemical testing on it and stuff, you're not going to recognize it. You want to keep it as close to its natural state as possible. We were talking about earlier juicers and things. We said, what's the best kind of juicer ever? We're born with it. It's in our mouth. It's our teeth. The closest to the natural thing. And absolutely, if you can grow aloe vera in your own garden and harvest it and eat it fresh, that's going to be your best source. We have it growing in our in my yard, lots of it, hundreds of plants between the front and backyard. I will eat from my own garden, but I'll still go to this because of convenience, just because I can't keep up. I can't do it all. So if that makes sense, this is as close to natural as we possibly could be. Minimizing processing. What's the processing? It's hand cutting, hand filleting, washing the leaves and stuff like that. Running it through a grinder, which is kind of like a low-speed blender that's not going to aerate it, not going to oxidize it. From there, we run it through a chiller. What's a chiller? A chiller is it's 110 feet of stainless steel piping that has this cold liquid on the outside. So when it goes in at the field temperature, which in the Dominican Republic, could be 90, 100 degrees, it comes out at about 50 degrees, much colder. And then we put it into the containers that go into the freezer. And from there we ship it back to the United States, and we keep it frozen here, and we ship it to you frozen. It leaves here frozen. It might not arrive to you frozen, but it'll leave here frozen. It'll arrive to you cold, maybe slushy, hopefully mostly frozen.
So once it gets to somebody and it's like not frozen, is that a problem? I mean, can they refreeze it, or should they just use it right then and there? How does that work?
Yeah, if it's completely thawed, if you had it like this and was completely thawed, we would say, okay, if you're going to use this within a week or so, great. If you're not, I would pour it into smaller containers, refreeze them, take them out as needed.
All right, great. And so, Dr. Haley, I want to really talk about like other aloe vera products on the market. So somebody could go down to the local health food store and buy a bottle of aloe vera, I don't know what they call it, juice, water, and it's like clear. I mean, this one's not clear. I don't know if you guys can see that in there, but it's like not super translucent. Some of those ones are translucent, and people may have tried those before, but they didn't get any results, even though they've read online that aloe vera is so good for your digestion, but they tried this stuff at the store and nothing happened.
If you go on the International Aloe Science Council website, IASC.org, they have a video there that shows you normal processing of aloe vera for the majority of the companies. It's the same procedure, and I've seen this, firsthand at 2 different aloe vera farms. I've interviewed a third, and there's pretty much only 4 of them providing all the companies in the United States with their aloe veras. So they're all really using this exact same process. And one of the things they do is they dump big, like 100-pound bags of diatomaceous earth and activated carbon in this big tank full of aloe, and it has paddles in it that just kind of turn it into this big charcoal slurry. Then they put it through a pressure filter. And in that filter, it's like making cakes, like charcoal, diatomaceous earth cakes, trapping a lot of the pulp and a lot of the nutrients, pushing through the liquid, which comes out clear. They call that decolorization and deodorization. When you are removing color and odor or aroma from your food, you're taking out the nutrients. And yes, it's true, they might be removing some anti-nutrients. We find it better to, wash the leaves and use a nice clean hand fillet process so we don't have the anti-nutrients. Then we don't have to take them out. And we don't have to risk taking out nutrients with the anti-nutrients. So we're not pushing a clear liquid through. We're not pasteurizing it. We're not putting in chemical preservatives because we want the full nutritional value. And, I love asking people too, what's the purpose of a preservative? Because they always talk about, to make the food last longer. No. That's the side effect. The purpose of the preservative is to kill mold, yeast, fungus, and bacteria.
Wow.
When you eat it, does it know to stop killing? Of course not. But what's inside you? You've got this intestinal lining with this delicate microflora. It doesn't want chemistry in there, throwing that flora out of balance. You want real food, not dead pasteurized food, not chemically preserved, not GMO. People think GMO means bigger, better plants. No, it means more chemicals. Roundup ready, making its own pesticides. We have too many chemicals in the food. We want the real thing, full nutritional value, not filtered, stripped of nutrients, not cooked, not killed, not chemically preserved. That's what we're doing here. It's the natural, real inside of the aloe leaf.
Wow, so this is like a whole food minus the toxins on the outside. Basically, I mean, this stuff tastes so good I could just drink it. I could probably drink the whole bottle all day. So, Dr. Haley, if I drank the whole bottle, what would happen? Would I have instantaneous laxative effect, like if I drank bottles of potentially other aloes? Or
I could tell you a story about someone that I told to drink 3 glasses of this a day because she found out that she had cancer again. And I gave her a couple bottles, and I said, I want you to start drinking 3 glasses a day. And
how big? Like 8-ounce glasses?
Yeah, 8 ounces. And she was actually a brand new employee of mine. And I remember the next day she was in the bathroom all day, which didn't make sense to me. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And the day after that, in the bathroom all day long. And she came to me. She said, Dr. Haley, is it possible that the aloe will run right through you? I said, no, not a chance. I said, well, I shouldn't say that because, I mean, if you bought your aloe from, and I named a popular store that people buy things from, then yes, but not what I gave you. And she said, oh. I said, what do you mean, oh? She said, well, before drinking the aloe that you gave me, I thought I would drink my husband's, finished his, because he drinks it for his diabetes. You got the stuff with the outer leaf and that it irritates the gut and the chemical preservatives and all that other stuff running right through her. I said, how much did you drink? She said, I couldn't drink 3 glasses. My response was, 3 glasses could have killed you. Causing dehydration and taking away all your electrolytes and all that stuff. This is not going to do that. This is the inside of the leaf. It has a gut calming, gut healing effect. It's soothing. People that are having problems with their guts, it seems to normalize it. If they're too loose, it seems to normalize it. If they're constipated, it seems to normalize it. It seems to help the gut do what it is supposed to do, not make things worse. And when I'm in the Dominican Republic, as we're harvesting, I have 8 checkpoints a day. And I'm used to, here I drink a glass at a time, so an 8-ounce glass. At each checkpoint, I drink 8 ounces. So I'm drinking essentially a bottle like this per day. And no, it doesn't run right through me. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have any problem drinking all this. It's just so good. It's just really like a neutral flavor. Although, adding it to like sugar cane juice or other kind of juice could be great if you need help getting it down. But I just like drinking it just chilled and cold. So, Dr. Haley, like what I literally want to get into for my people out there is, what are the specific nutrients that the aloe vera plant makes that's like not in any other plant that are important for us to have inside us, and what do they do inside us?
Yeah, there's these specialized glyconutrients that are, complex mucilaginous polysaccharides, which are, what's a saccharide is a sugar molecule. Oh, so are we drinking sugar? No. If you join them together, you get like complex carbohydrates, and the more complex they get, eventually they're so complex they're mucilaginous polysaccharides. And there's one in particular called Acemannan, and this is probably the most researched nutrient that is in aloe, and it's been studied primarily for its immune boosting function, specifically causing your macrophages in your immune system, your macrophages to secrete 3 very important factors. One is, I'll start with tumor necrosis factor because I like the name. Tumor necrosis. Tumor, we think cancer. Necrosis means death too. It's the factor that causes death to cancer. How does it do that? It sends a signal to your immune system, helping your immune system to identify the cancer cells, because sometimes people have cancer, but their immune system doesn't do anything about it. Is it a cancer cure? No, but it'll support your immune system, so your immune system will do more like what it's supposed to do. It also causes, the Acemannan causes your macrophages to secrete more interferons and more interleukins, which also do the same thing. They work together to teach the immune system to say, that's bad, that's a virus, that's a cancer, go kill it. So those same glyconutrients also have a blood sugaring balancing. So people will drink that have diabetes because they want to lower and stabilize their blood sugar levels. People drink it for the gut healing, the calming effect. Does it heal Crohn's disease? No, but people that drink it seem to do a lot better. I think it's kind of like, it's been proven to heal sunburns and, which is kind of like ulcerated skin. And these gut problems are kind of like ulcerated skin on the inside. Your skin and your gut are made of this epithelial tissue, and they seem to work the same. Do we have any proof that it speeds healing in the gut? Not that I know of, but we have a lot of people that, have bleeding bowels and they drink aloe and that stops within a few days. So it seems to have that similar benefit. I always tell people though, if you have gut problems and you're drinking this to cure it, you're probably not going to get cured unless you get rid of the cause of your problems, which is probably going to be, chemicals, GMOs, preservatives. The food is made out of chemicals these days, and you have to eat less inflammatory foods, more anti-inflammatory foods, more gut healing foods, more immune supporting foods. Just get away from the middle of the grocery store. Get out of the aisles.
Cool. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about is the aloe vera. Like, I know a lot of some people watching might be like, I don't need aloe vera. I don't have any gut problems, and my immune system's pretty good. I barely ever get sick. So why would a regular person just want to drink some aloe? I mean, what could it do to a normal healthy person? Because I mean, I could understand people that might have cancer or Crohn's or maybe some kind of autoimmune disease. This would totally help them because I mean, it's been researched to help with those situations. But a normal person that has no health ailments.
I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait till I get sick to need something good. It's the same reason why I, grow my sprouts. It's the same reason why I eat salads every day and go out in the garden and grab moringa off the tree. And, I'm eating these things because I want to live not only healthy, but to my best potential. I want to be operating, as high as possible, not down low, just getting by. So these healthy foods and superfoods, for me, it's maximal potential. It's about optimal health. It's not about getting well because I got sick because I didn't do these things.
What I like to say is it's literally disease proofing yourself so you don't get disease. I mean, this can strengthen your immune system so it could detect cancer and kick their ass, that tumor necrosis factor, right? I mean, and not just aloe, it's all these different foods on the planet. Cruciferous vegetables, allium family plant, garlic and onions, so great. Mushrooms, right? So there's so many different foods that I want you guys to eat, and we shouldn't avoid aloe. I mean, if you're not eating aloe, you should probably have it once in a while. You have to drink it by the jar, by the gallon, half gallon, whatever it is, all the time. Probably not. I like to include some aloe and always eat different foods. Plus, it mixes it up. This is a really unique flavor, and especially on a nice, I don't know if I drink this so much in the winter time, but on a hot summer's day, it's just really nice and cooling and soothing, in your mouth.
It is. It's, I don't, can they hear this? I mean, if you hear the, it's not like
sloshing around. It's not just like water.
It has this goopiness kind of thickness, and that same thickness is the, gelling.
It's soothing, when you drink it.
It is.
So I know since you've been doing this for actually many years now, Dr. Haley, what are some testimonials from different situations that you've heard from people in the past?
I talked to someone today that she's just starting our product, and she has pancreatic cancer. Mm. And it took me back to one of my patients that had pancreatic cancer before I was in the aloe industry. And I recommended the aloe to her, and I told her to drink 3 glasses a day, and I told her to start growing her own sprouts and juicing her own, vegetables and cut out all the sugars. And we took away a lot of foods and stuff that she loved, and she hated me for a few weeks until she started actually getting used to it and having more energy than ever before. After a bit, she kind of combined it with a medical approach. So she went natural and medical. Now, pancreatic cancer is one of the worst. It's, you have a 2% chance of surviving, and I'm not sure if that means surviving 1 year or 5 years in the case of pancreatic. But it's not a good diagnosis. But here we are years later, 8 or 9 years later, and she's still cancer-free. She did something different. She was in the 2%, not the 98% that only do medicine. She did something different. I forgot how I got into this conversation. What have we seen, testimonial-wise?
Yeah.
I do remember at her, celebration, her cancer, healing celebration party, the recognition that she gave me for, teaching her these things. Am I going to say the aloe vera healed her? No. I think it was, she made a whole bunch of changes, and we don't know what it was, but aloe happened to have been a part of it. So that was a very, very neat thing. We see people all the time, if I have a patient with a bleeding gut, and it doesn't matter if they've been bleeding for a week, a month, or years, I'll put them on 3 glasses a day. And I might ask them on the second day, how are you doing? And they might not notice a difference yet, and they might even seem a little, stick it out. Day 3 seems to be the magic day. Everybody stops bleeding on day 3, when they've had these lifetime of horrible bleeding when they're drinking 3 glasses a day. I've seen that many, many times. Does the aloe stop the bleeding? Medically, I can't say that. I could say that I've seen a lot of people get well from that. I've seen people with high blood sugar levels come down. I've seen people that, a lot of people with cancers that don't have cancer anymore. I never teach just do this though, and I don't know what works for you, but you want to do it all right. If I said, oh, you have cancer, here, drink this, that's no different than a medical approach, because now this has become your drug. Yeah. These illnesses, they require a lifestyle change, a drastic lifestyle change.
And I think, the aloe should be a part of the change. There's many things, of course. Changing your diet's important, changing your thoughts, changing your stress levels, getting proper sleep, getting enough exercise. There's so many different things that are a component of, taking your life in a better direction, so that you basically allow your body to heal and you get out of the way. Super
Absolutely.
important. So on a regular basis, like, how much should somebody drink, or what do you like to tell people how much to drink? I mean, if I was thirsty and this is what I had and I didn't have any water, actually, I'd rather drink this than the tap water here in Miami, or even a bottled water, because I mean, it's water with nutrients at the same time, and it's like so mild.
I don't think this is going to apply to the people that follow you, John, because I think they're ahead of most people. When it comes to the things they're putting in their bodies already, they get it. We don't need, we're preaching to the choir here, but I do tell most people that, a lot of people come to me, they're in a crisis. Yeah. They haven't been doing it right for a long time. And I'll tell them to make sure they drink a whole bottle within the first week.
Wow.
And that's just one full glass every day.
Oh, I see.
And I don't say, consider your symptoms and how your gut feels or what's happening. I don't talk anything about that. I say just drink a glass a day and then look in the mirror. Because these people that haven't been doing it right and they add that much per day for a week, they look in the mirror and they see a younger person. It changes their skin. It changes their complexion. And if you can see that in your reflection, you're drinking and it's going to the I'm not putting it on my face. How's it doing that? From the inside out, it's doing something. You've changed your diet for the good and you can see the difference. Again, the people watching this, probably not. They're probably already juicing and they're hydrated and they're living right?
Hopefully. I mean, maybe I got a new person that hasn't watched me before too, You never know.
Well, so that's what I'll start people with, and then from there it's a food. If you want to drink more, drink more. If you want to drink less, drink less. But there's nothing like seeing the results for yourself and seeing what it does for you. Whether it's your bowel function or your skin complexion. But yeah, most of our and they will come back and they'll say, you're right. At first, or they'll say, I've been drinking it already, and I looked in the mirror, and I thought I saw a difference, but now you're just confirming it. We've heard this many, many times.
So, like, what, this will reduce your wrinkles or increase your hydration, or what does it do? Like, so you can make you more attractive if you're single?
I remember one person. I remember one person saying, "See that like dimple right there?" I was like, "No." She said, "Exactly. It's gone." She said, I've had it for years, but I'm drinking your aloe and it just disappeared. Okay, I never heard that. I don't know anything about, aloe getting rid of dimples, but, it's not in the scientific literature, but, I have noticed before she said that it seems to change people's skin complexion, so I don't know what it does.
Yeah, I mean, just natural foods could getting off all the junk and having natural foods, it's just good. So Dr. Haley, like, if somebody just didn't want to drink it straight, because for some reason, I don't know why you wouldn't like the flavor straight, like, what are some ways people could incorporate this into meals or things?
Sometimes there's things that we put into our diets, and like wheatgrass juice might be controversial. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. Okay, whatever you think about that, if you think it's good, it doesn't taste so good by itself. Aloe is not, it's not like people really look forward to the flavor, like, I can't wait to have my aloe. If you've been living in America, you probably can't wait to have your coffee. I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm surrounded by. But, when you combine something like this with one of those other things that you don't like so much, like wheatgrass juice, the two together pop. The color improves on both of them, the taste improves on both of them. And it's delicious. There's a lot of things you can mix it in with. If you add it to your smoothies, it adds a thicker, more satisfying texture. I do like mixing it with things, but for a time's sake, I just know I got to get my 8 ounces every day for me, because I do feel like it's helping, preserve my youth a little bit. So I don't bother mixing it. I just fill up a glass and drink it down. I do that every day. But if I'm making an exquisite, smoothie and I want to take the time to do that, yeah, I'm going to put aloe in it. You better believe it.
Cool. Awesome. So I guess the question is, because it does come frozen, like how long can it last? Like I know on the top here, this is probably a good idea. You got a date here. It says 12/14, and so I guess that's from the date you thawed it out. But
Yes.
once you thaw it, like what's the shelf life?
Yeah, it depends how cold your refrigerator is, for one. You're not going to be leaving it on your shelf or in your pantry. It is a real food. And just like if you ever, squeeze fresh oranges and you leave them in your refrigerator, eventually, it's going to taste a little sweeter, and then it's going to start fermenting and turning more of a probiotic and less of what you started with. It's not necessarily bad as a probiotic, but it's kind of an expensive probiotic, and it's not a tasty probiotic. It's a lot tastier when it's fresh. I say use it up within a week. And that's why I have this date on it, because sometimes we lose them in the back of the refrigerator. So I know that, okay, I thawed this one, and this happens to be today's date. We thawed this one this morning, and
By the time I leave, it'll be gone.
yeah, it'll and if you and I don't drink this, I mean, we in the office here, we drink every day. We have a few bottles in the refrigerator all the time thawed, because we're always going through it.
I want to work here.
Yeah. It's funny, because it's one of the things the girls love. They love that, that it's an unlimited aloe supply in this office, and it definitely, we all, feel the benefit. We all know we have to have this in our diets.
So the next question I have for you, Dr. Haley, is, your product, it's nowhere on there does it say organic. So I want to know more about how this is grown, because I'm really into gardening and growing food. I visited farms all across the country, and hopefully maybe even make it to your aloe vera farm one of these days. But is this organic, and how do you build the fertility of the soil to give the plants nutrients so that they could make a good high quality product?
Yeah, good question. Regarding the organic certification, we don't have it on there. And some aloes do, some don't. The reality is, all of the aloe vera to the United States is probably coming from one of 4 farms, and they are pretty much all using organic processes. Aloe vera doesn't need pesticides. It doesn't need help. We're growing it in the tropical areas. As far as the soil goes, you have this like lime rock rich soil, in the tropics, that provides all of the minerals that it needs. It's not going to grow well in your potting mix that you get. I don't care how rich the soil is. It doesn't like that. It's going to grow better in the mineral rich, like rocky type, sandy, that drains easy soil, and it's going to pull the minerals from that. So the tropical climate, Mexico, Dominican Republic, that little band area, that's where it grows. That's where it grows best. We're in South Florida, and it grows good here, and we have some beautiful big aloe plants in our yard. But here in the wintertime, it will even stop growing. It'll get stagnant here. And if you're trying to grow it in other parts of the United States, you're going to need a greenhouse. You're going to have to simulate tropical climate. That's the only way you're going to grow big aloe leaves. You can't grow it in Ohio. It's not going to grow in Ohio. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, it's not certified organic, but it's grown organically, and definitely a higher standard than organic. There's nothing used in our process. There's no chemicals, not even preservatives. There's nothing used. It's hand cut. It's hand flayed. It's it's washed in water, and there's nothing. One thing that's kind of neat. It does get a little too much sun in the Dominican Republic. Aloe does like a little bit of shade, like a 20% shade. We'll actually use hose to pull the weeds and sometimes blanket the tops of the aloe plants with the weeds to give them some shade out in the fields, and that seems to really help to kind of give it that 20, maybe 30% shade. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. It just talked about the growing practices. You don't spray anything on there because I mean, literally, aloe's a wild plant. Like they're just making sure it grows all right, and they don't have to really do anything to it. It just grows naturally, and maybe help it shade it a little bit. And yeah, it seems pretty straightforward.
yeah, the weeds are actually our friends. We use them. We don't want to kill them. We'll harvest them and blanket the aloe with them, and eventually that's just going to go back into the soil and give the nutrients right back. That would, yeah.
So I know, a lot of people watching the show today, and including myself, like they're like, it's in a plastic bottle. I can't take it because it has plasticizers and it's not in glass. So you want to explain why you use a plastic bottle, and does this have BPA and all this kind of stuff?
Let's talk about where plastics gets the bad rap from. It's bottled water. And if you think about how much water is in the grocery store, imagine the water factory that's providing these things. They cannot store, warehouses full of plastic bottles. So it's going to look like this. It's going to be like blow the bottle, fill it up, put it on a pallet. Pallet goes on a truck. Truck goes on the road, and the roads are the warehouses. So these bottles that they're blowing don't even have time to gas off and for the plastic to fully cure. So that's where you're getting all the leaching and the bad rap on plastics. The other thing is heat. Heat speeds up the activity of chemistry, which is going to, increase leaching of plastics. We're actually cold filling these. We're putting cold liquid into bottles that were made a long time ago and are cured and gassed off. So I would say this is going to be an effective use of plastics. Now, this is what's going to blow a lot of people away. When it comes to what they're buying in the store, when they're buying glass bottled things, I'm not saying every company does this, but you'd really want to check. Just like aloe, when you're buying your juices, they usually come from one of the big farms, and then there might be a company in the United States that buys it from the farms, and then maybe sells it to smaller companies that reprocess it and repackage it. I'll tell you, in the case of aloe vera, most of it is getting pasteurized, and then they take that hot liquid with the preservatives in it and they hot fill it into the big blue plastic drums. Now, they do have liners in those drums, but they're made of plastic. They're like foil on the outside, plastic on the inside. And they're filling those bags at about 160, 170 degrees Fahrenheit and sealing it while it's hot. They want to get it in the plastic drums hot to know that, okay, now there's not going to be contamination from the outside and the heat in there is going to kill everything. And then they ship it to the United States that way. So it's in there cooking in the heat in plastic. Now, there might be a large company in the United States that is buying from the various farmers that have these heat-sealed big drums that sells it to the other aloe vera companies that reprocess it, repasteurize it, add a new set of chemical preservatives, and that's the preservatives that actually show up on their labels, not the original preservatives from the original farmer. They don't have to, because it's just raw material. They only have to have the preservatives label the ones that are being reprocessed, and then they'll put those in glass jars. And you buy it thinking, well, why isn't yours in a glass jar, Mike? Ours were cold filled in this, and we had to freeze it. And aloe does expand more than water, and it does break glass. I'd rather consider this a wise use of plastic, cold filling it in a cured bottle, versus I would never buy bottled water unless I really, really needed to get hydrated, and that was my only option. That doesn't make sense to me. But in this case, it does make sense to me.
And so, what kind of plastic are you using specifically?
Yeah, it is a BPA-free plastic, and the bottles. If you there's a place on our website. If you look up the bottles on the website, there's actually a link with the resin statement from the manufacturer that does clearly state BPA-free, and it lists everything that's in it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, and once again, literally, plastic makes it possible was one of the slogans when I was a kid growing up that they said, and hey, if it wasn't for plastic, you wouldn't be able to get this fresh raw aloe because it would bust glass out, right? I mean, other than that, like, grow your own, right? Grow your own so it never has to touch plastic. I mean, I grow my own Stockton Aloe so that it doesn't have to touch plastic. But hey, when I Put it in my blender, it touches plastic. So I mean, the whole thing is you just got to do the best you can, and in our society, you need to just minimize your contact with plastic as much as possible. And like Michael here, I would definitely agree with, like, you know, I'd rather not drink water out of plastic bottles because it's been sitting in there a long time. I mean, he runs through a lot of this stuff through here, coming in, coming out, going out in boxes, and it's so always active, and it's not like sitting around in here for years in there, and it's also frozen. And plus, when you get it, you know, you need to thaw it out and then drink it within like a week. So like it's very minimal plastic time. And I think once again, it's like a pro and a con, right? The pros of the aloe vera juice, in my opinion, far outweigh the con that actually happens to come in plastic. I mean, much like juicers, you know, I sell juicers, they're made out of plastic. But when you put your produce through the juicer, it's in the plastic, having plastic contact for 30 seconds, and then it goes into my glass collection jar. Am I gonna not juice now because, oh, it touched plastic, it's contaminated? No, like, let's not be so paranoid. Like, if juicing allows you to eat more fresh fruits, but more importantly, the fresh vegetables and the leafy greens than you normally would, it's a good thing. But hey, of course, we could just use our own juicers, our teeth. Yeah. You know, if you're gonna mow in and eat, you know, several pounds of kale a day, which, you know, as much as I like kale, I'm not gonna do that. So, I mean, I'm glad juicing can concentrate the nutrients, and that really is kind of what this is. But it's not even a juice because it has all the fiber and everything. So actually, let's talk about the fiber in here, Dr. Haley.
You know, it's a whole food for a reason. You know, what's a whole food? It's when you have the whole food. Is the peel part of the whole food? Probably not. Those are probably the anti-nutrients. I don't think the fiber is supposed to be removed. I don't think the color is supposed to be removed. I don't think the aroma is supposed to be removed. It's a whole food, and these things are meant to work together. A lot of people know that the fiber is actually food for your gut flora. The fiber absorbs hydration and helps keep things moving. It's there, you know, we'll consider it like the cleaning system of your intestines. It's part of the food, and it's supposed to be in there. We don't want to be taking it out all of the time. I know some people need massive amounts of nutrients fast because they let themselves get in a crisis, and oh, I can't handle that much whole food. I just need the nutrition. Okay, great. Maybe you do have to remove the fiber so you can get a, you know, super mega doses of the nutrients. You know, there might be a time and place for that, but for the most part, we want to eat whole foods. There's even a store named after that concept. They jumped on the concept and said, let's name ourselves after the concept of eating whole foods.
But they sell a lot of processed, non-whole foods. Imagine that.
It's creative marketing.
So what kind of fiber is actually in here? Is it soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, or what kinds of different fibers?
Let me see. Soluble or insoluble? Boy, that's a long time ago that I studied those things. Insoluble is that stuff that your body is not going to be able to use. That's like the wood chips on the outside of those berries, right? Things that you get stuck in your teeth and you need like a crowbar to get out. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's like the particulate that really helps, you know, basically keeps us clean on the inside. The soluble is the one that dissolves in water. It's kind of more beneficial for our gut flora, and, you know, that's one of the things that may help blood sugar regulation and whatnot.
Yes.
And then there's all kinds of other fiber, but those are the main two types.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering what's kind of in here.
Yeah, no, I'm confident that it's completely the soluble. I would have to check on that because I really forget those things. But it is, it's like the pulp from an apple. What's that? What kind of fiber is that? That's,
there's like every fruit or vegetable has like a percentage of each. So I know, example, I've memorized a carrot. A carrot is like 48% soluble and 52% insoluble.
Really?
And everything, so like even when you juice carrots, people think, oh, when you juice carrots, you lose all the fiber. Well, no, you're losing about half of the fiber. You're losing all the insoluble fiber that's going out with the pulp, but you're keeping the soluble fiber that's in the juice because it's soluble, dissolves in water.
I'm going to do my research and find out now what the percentage of soluble and insoluble is in an aloe. I don't know.
And then there's all different other kinds of fiber too, you know, that like inulin fiber, and there's so many different kinds, but there's two main classifications, and they all have, well, studied and unstudied, you know, potential benefits.
I've got some research to do. You're going to have to come back.
I will. So I guess, Dr. Michael, before we go, is there any other final comments or thoughts about the aloe that you'd like to share with my viewers today, since I know you've been literally involved in this business, doing the aloe vera, and you're like an expert literally on this, and and a lot of you guys out there watching may not know so much about aloe.
Yeah, you know, we have a great contact page on our website, aloe1.com. If you have a question about it, I mean, we get many questions every single day, and we get back to absolutely everyone. You're probably not going to ask us something that hasn't been asked before. I'm sure we have an answer ready. I mean, unless you're going to ask about fibers, of course. But by then I'll have an answer. By the time but go to the website aloe1.com and submit your questions in the contact us area. We will cover whatever it is that you want to know about.
Cool. And yeah, I mean, I definitely would recommend you guys to expand the varieties of foods you're eating, whether you want to grow your own aloe or whether you want to, buy it to start including it if you have some kind of major health condition that Dr. Michael talked about earlier that this may be helpful for. I mean, it's definitely worth a shot. I mean, the one thing I want you guys to do is not just like aloe vera or the Stockton Miller aloe is not the heal-all cure. It's like part of eating more natural and getting more of the different phytonutrients and all the different plant compounds or phytochemicals that the plants make that can have amazing benefits within us. And I mean, that's really what it is. I think this is really a good part of a healthy diet. And one of the things I really want to do is I want to get my mom on this stuff because for her whole life, she says she has goo stomach, whatever that means. And it's like bad genes, so I have bad stomach. And, maybe it's just she hasn't been eating the right foods all these years. And, she still does eat her chicken and stuff. And she eats a lot of processed garbage, in my opinion. But, I love my mom. And hopefully she's not watching this. But, you just need to eat healthy foods, and your body is a self-healing miracle. And something like the aloe, may be helpful to help your body get back into shape. So, Dr. Michael, if somebody wants to buy this, learn more about your company, what's your website, and all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, aloe1.com. Head over to the shop. You'll see there's different ways to get it. Some people get it in bottles like this. The more you get, the cheaper it gets. It is an expensive product because handling real food, things that perish, drives the price up. It's not going to be anything like one of those that can sit on a shelf for years and where the costs are low because they don't spoil. It's not anything like that. So aloe1.com, that's really, we also have a store locator, and more places now actually carry it throughout the country. I think we have it even up in Washington, the opposite corner of the United States. So that's another possibility instead of going right to the website. But yeah, and get your aloe1.com to get your questions answered.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is a little bit expensive, and you just got to judge for yourself if you think it's worth the investment. I mean, I think I always like to have an open mind, and some of these things that I try and eat, they get expensive sometimes. But hey, if it could benefit me, take my health to the next level, I think it's worth it. Because I mean, especially like at the end of your life when you have all this money in the bank, and you're going to lose your life. Like what's that money going to do for you, right? And so I think, especially almost losing my life when I was younger, like if this could improve my health, keep me disease proof, better, longer, I could have a more youthful energy and stamina and do everything I want to do like I was still 20 again. It's worth it for me, and that's why I do all the things I do. I process my own aloe, but I'm going to start getting some of this and drinking it more on a regular basis because I think it's helpful. And actually, I really personally like the taste, and actually combining this with a sugarcane juice is one of the best ways I like to drink it because it kind of mellows out when you have something so sweet. It's kind of balanced it out, plus it gives it some extra fiber in there, and helps with potential blood sugar issues of drinking sweetened or naturally sweetened fruit or a high sugar juices. Although sugarcane juice actually has less sugar than orange juice. So
wow.
So and then the other thing is, although this stuff is expensive, I always try to hook you guys up with a deal. Since you guys watch to the end, you guys could use a discount code GYG, and once again GYG on the Aloe1 website for a 15% off discount on your first order. So it makes it at least a little bit more affordable.
Yeah, and it's not as expensive as people start. When people latch onto this and they say, okay, I want this for the rest of my life, you'll notice that like when you get 8 bottles at a time, as an example, the price per bottle is $10 less.
Oh, wow.
And then a lot of people will get even better savings. They want to drink it all the time. One of the greenest solutions in here, I actually have buckets stacked up right here, but people buy it in buckets like this. And this is the greenest solution and also the most cost effective. See, it's going to have to melt on the way to you so that you can distribute it into other bottles and refreeze them to take out as necessary. So that means I don't have to ship it in styrofoam. Well, that saves me $10. So we start passing those costs on again. Shipping 2 bottles like this in a $10 styrofoam, with box and plastic bags and everything, trying to insulate it. That's what keeps the cost so darn high. But getting it that way, we don't have to put styrofoam in the environment. It's greener, it's cheaper. You can start like this to try it, and then if you want this every day, start getting it like that and breaking it down, and then it's affordable. And put your GYG coupon on top of that. Yeah.
All right, good deal, man. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. That'll encourage me to get back and make more videos with Dr. Haley in the future, sharing you guys more information about the aloe. Maybe even one of these days I'll get to visit the farm in the Dominican Republic. I look forward to that during the harvest time or whatever. Also, be sure to share this video with somebody else that wants to learn more about the aloe vera and why this aloe is the best aloe literally on the planet. Also, be sure to click the subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes that have come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge of refined episodes on this channel. Teach you guys about all aspects of eating more and how to eat healthfully the fresh fruits and vegetables, which are the best foods on the planet. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time. And until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables, including the aloe vera. They're always the best.